Hi, I thought I'd put together a little video showing some Unite strategy. Um, so I thought the best way to do that would just be to go over a game that I played. So this is a game I played back in January. So I'm playing black, so I move first. And so the first thing you might want to know is what are some good opening moves. Um, so obviously the board's symmetrical, so it doesn't matter if you move the bottom row or the top row. And because it's also symmetrical the other way, it doesn't really matter if you play E, F, or G, or B, C, or D. So let's just look at some of these moves. So for E, you could move here, but if you move to E3, white could just take you. And generally speaking, in the opening, you don't want to give up pieces in the center, because not only do you lose a piece, which that can be good or bad depending on the situation, but your opponent also gets a piece into the center, and you usually want to try to get your pieces into the center if you can. Um, I mean, there's basically two ideas in the opening. You want to either get your pieces toward the center or prevent your opponent from getting their pieces into the center. And to that end, you want to try to block them. So a lot of opening moves will try to block, your opponent. Say, if I wanted to move E1 G3, or F1 F3, or G1 G3. So what I like to do to start off games is usually play E1 G3. So what that does a couple things. First, it blocks this piece at H3 from moving forward, this piece at H2 from going diagonally, this piece at H4 from going diagonally down, and it also adds another piece to this G column, so that I can play G1, G4 next, or I can play G8, G5. So that's the plan, and that's what I did. And my opponent played C2, right? A2, C2. So he's blocking me here. So you'll basically take turns with your opponent blocking each other. But that doesn't really do anything to stop my plan. So I just went ahead and played G4. Okay. So, and then I can play, next I can play G5, and then bring this piece from E8 over to G6. So we'll just wall them off. So, but my opponent did something interesting next. He decided to play D1. So he's capturing my piece on D1. So I'm not usually a big fan of capturing pieces on the edges, especially in the opening, because if you capture a piece on the edge, your opponent has one less piece to try to unite, and your piece has moved to the edge. So usually you're further away from your pieces, or at least further away from the center. So so I'm not sure if I like that move. However, he is attacking this critical G4 piece. So I need to do something about that. There's a couple things I could do. One thing I could do is play F1 to F3, block him so he can't capture it. And that would work out. But I decided to take kind of an indirect route to protecting it. So what I did was I played E8 to G6. Okay, so that doesn't prevent him from taking it, but if he does take it, now I have enough pieces in the G column that I could take back with G8, the G8 piece. So that actually is what happened. He took on G4, and then I recaptured on G4. Okay, so now just take a quick look at this position. I have three pieces here on the G column blocking his pieces in the H column, and he only has one piece on c2, kind of blocking these pieces here. So I'm feeling pretty good about the opening so far. All right, and then he played another kind of strange move. He played, he captured the piece on c1. And so, that doesn't really threaten anything. He's not threatening anything on this c1 h6 diagonal. There's nothing there. He could take the f1 pawn, or f1 piece, but I think I'd be happy with that. It does, the b1 piece is kind of walled off. It's not in a great spot right now, but it's still early, so that's okay. So I'm just going to go ahead and continue my plan to block him off. So there's, I have lots of choices here. I probably don't want to take, f1, c1, for obvious reasons. Like I said, I don't usually like taking pieces on the edge, and that's going away from my pieces on the G file. So, I could take, I could play f1, h3. That does take a piece on the edge, but, the h pieces would be walled off from his other pieces. The other option is, up here, I could play something like d8, b6, or b8, b6, start blocking these pieces here. But I decided to just concentrate on this side of the board, on the right side. So I played f6. So my idea here is simply to play d8 to g4, because now I'll have three pieces here. So I can play there and just completely wall them off. And I made careful to check, or I was careful to check that when I move the piece to f3, he can't capture me in any way. So there's only four pieces on this row, so he can only go from a6 to e6, so he can't capture me. Okay. So what he played was c1, c4. Okay. I'm not quite sure what the point of that move is. Maybe he wants to play, a6 to d3, but it doesn't do anything to stop me from my plan. So I went ahead and moved my piece to g5. Okay, so I got a nice wall here. That's looking good. And then he decided to play e6. Okay, so he's probably worried about me playing c8 to f5, so he blocked me from doing that. Okay, because if I was able to do that, I have a really solid block. If you can get, if you only have a wall of with one, then it's possible he can come over and try to take it, take one of the pieces. But if you have a wall with two, even if he takes one, he's still blocked off. So if I could move that c8 to c8 piece to f5, that would be really strong. So he did recognize that, and he blocked that. So what do I do now? So, well, I've got these three pieces, b1, b8, and c8. They're all kind of away from the action. I want to start bringing them over toward my block over here on the right. So I decided to play b8 to d8. Okay, so what this does is it threatens to capture d8 to h4, and that's really strong, because if I can take that piece, then I basically split my opponent's pieces on the h file into two pieces. Kind of obliterates his position. And there's not really a lot he can do about it here. So he just went ahead and played c5. Okay. So I could play, I could capture on h4 now, but I recognize that like I said, there were those three pieces here, here, and here that are kind of away from the action, and he's he is threatening to take on g5. Okay, so I can just take him. So what, if I can take him, knowing that he would probably retake using the a7 piece. But that's fine because I'm getting rid of one of my problem pieces, and there's not much I can do to prevent him from taking that now. So I went ahead and captured on c5, and then of course he recaptured on c5. Okay. So like I said, there's not much I can do about him taking on g5, but that's not the end of the world for me if I move this d8 piece first. So if I move that first, and then he takes that, I've only got 2 pieces up here that I need to bring back into the fold. So that's what I did. I went ahead and took on h4, and he took on g5. Okay, so now take a look at the position. Now I've got these 5 pieces here, which are pretty close together. I got these 2 pieces, which I need to bring in. So what I really want to do is I want to get a piece to f5, right? If I can get a piece to f5, I can connect these pieces. But there's currently no way that I can do that, right now. The b1 piece can only get to e4 right now. So what I did was I decided, well, if I just get rid of this f piece, then the piece at f1, then this piece at f6 can just move down 1. Okay, so I decided, well, I'm just gonna take on h3. So I said usually I don't like taking on the edge, but here this h2 piece is just kind of lost. It's completely walled off. You can only move one square at a time along the 2 row. So, and like I said, I now allow my f6 piece to go to f5. So he just played d5. Okay, and now I need to bring this b1 piece into the action. So I bring it up to e4, and now I'm threatening to win. Right? If I just move f6 to f5, I'll win. So what can he do about it? He can't block me. He can't get a piece to f5. He can't bring this h piece over here to force me to move to f4 instead. He could play c4 to f7. So if he did that, then this piece would move 2 squares, which I might just do that anyway because I'd still be threatening to win, by moving the G piece. Or I might decide to play e4 takes e6, and I'm in a really strong position here. It's unlikely he can recover, but again, he has this piece on h2. It's going to take him a long time to get that close to his other pieces. So he actually didn't realize how he could stop it, and he played e5, and I just played f5 to win. Okay, so that gives you some ideas for strategy. I'll probably make some more videos on some other games that I played. Hope that helps, and if you want to find players to play against, you can go to our Discord channel. I'll put that in the comments. Thanks for watching.